Hi, this is Lucy Arnez. You're listening to TV Confidential.
Ed Robertson welcoming you back to TV Confidential, radio talk show about television that will play part two of a conversation that began last week with Laurence Luckinbill. Laurence Luckinbill, the actor known around the world as Hank in both the original Broadway production and the motion picture version of The Boys in the Band, as well as Glenn Garth Gregory, the reluctant spy in the ABC spy series The Delphi Bureau, and as Sybok, Spock's half-brother in Star Trek V, The Final Frontier. Larry's autobiography, Affective Memories, How Chance and the Theater Saved My Life, is a page-turning, brutally honest story of how Larry overcame a meager upbringing and an alcoholic family growing up in the Ozark Mountains to forge his way into a successful career as a working actor on Broadway, in the movies, and on television. While Affective Memories is a quote-unquote showbiz book insofar as Larry shares a lot of great stories about working with such legends as Angela Lansbury, Tom Cruise, Otto Preminger, Diane Cannon, and William Shatner, it is also a book that transcends genres and evokes many classic American themes, one of which is finding redemption and a second lease on life through the love of a good woman. Affective Memories, available wherever books are sold through Sunbury Press, S-U-N-B-U-R-Y, sunburypress.com, as well as amazon.com, wherever books are sold online. For more on Laurence Luckinbill, laurenceluckinbill.com. Last week, in part one of our conversation, Larry and I discussed some of the many themes that recur throughout the pages of Affective Memories, as well as how the title itself, Affective Memories, is an acting term that also has a double meaning for readers of Larry's book. This week, we'll ask Larry to share a few memories of some of the many people that he worked with throughout his acting career. You did a Harry O in San Diego with David Janssen, in which you played a Catholic priest who was struggling with his vows. And so...
That's right. I did.
Okay.
I'll tell you one story before we get into that.
Okay.
Because I was booked into the Coronado, El Coronado, for the week to do the show. Mm-hmm. And you know, I had this enormous suite. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And so I arrived at the first set, which was the arena, sports arena, and at 5 o'clock in the morning, because I had made the strange and interesting choice of asking the makeup people to give me curly hair as a medallion. So I had to get there 2 hours ahead of time, and they were very happy to, you know, to play with my strange hair at that time. So I'm on my way to the set, which is inside the arena, and there was a van, and there was nobody else in the parking lot except me, and there was a van parked close to the entrance, and it was rocking a little bit. I could notice that, and as I walked up to the window and looked in, and there were 5 little dogs, little puppies, that were sort of lying about and sleeping and, you know, observing each other. But there was one who, as soon as my face appeared in the window, jumped up and ran to the door and stood up on it as if to say, "Come on in, you know, please come in." And so I was looking at that, and I knew what was going to happen in an hour. They were starting to get hot. So I went inside the arena, and I got on the microphone, and I called out, and I said, who's the guy with the dogs out here? And one of the grips stood up and said, that's me. And he came up, and the director and I were talking, and he said, "I'm so sorry about this. My wife kicked me out last night and told me to take my goddamn dogs with me.
Oh, wow.
I don't know what to do." I said, "Well, I will take one for you. I want the one that jumped up on the door." He said, "Oh yeah, there's one that's really bright and so powerful. And so other people took dogs too. So at the end of the shoot, the day, I had a little ditty bag, the actor's ditty bag,
yes,
carried around with all the crap in it, and far more than you ever need.
Yep.
But it was a gym bag actually. So I took the dog and put it inside the bag, and carried it into the Coronado lobby, where dogs were not allowed. It was just not allowed there. And I saw the newspaper stand, so I bought all. I said, the San Diego Union, you got a lot left there. I see. I'll take them all. Guy said, really? I said, sure. Yeah, I like to read. So I took about 20 newspapers up. I put them all over the vast living room floor, and of course, the next morning, in the only tiny corner, there was a nice deposit of stuff.
Of course, they find that one spot.
Exactly, and I knew this was a smart dog.
Yeah.
It was a Malamute, Alaskan Malumute, and had a curl tail, and that one, and it was so exorbitantly friendly that I thought, I've got to take this home to my kids. To my kid, I had one kid by that time, and I was living in Malibu. So I did. I called him Mush, and we had that dog for 13 years.
Oh, wow.
And he was a great family friend. He was quite large and territorial, and when we moved to New York, he used to go to Central Park with my kids and protect them, and he was just they could ride on his back. He was a very sturdy dog, but don't mess with him. One more tiny fact about that dog. At 9 months old, we were living in what was it called? There's a Cam Run the Canyons right by Constantino's. You know where that is?
Yeah.
On the PCH. And straight up, it was Las Flores Mesa Canyon. Truman Capote was a neighbor, and farther down the line, Lawrence and Lee, who wrote Inherit the Wind.
Oh, yeah.
Living. And Lawrence used to leave his garden gate open, which never meant anything to me until I took that my 9-month-old, by now, Mush, on a run down the hill. And this gigantic German Shepherd, rather old looking but really powerful, came running out and ran straight at Mush. And I thought, oh God, I've made a terrible mistake. My dog's going to be torn to shreds here. And so this dog charged, and Mush went right under his neck, flipped him over, and just stood there over him, over his snout, saying, "Okay, I'll kill you, or maybe you'll leave me alone." And this huge shepherd dog he turned on his back and was just completely supine, and then he went back into his hole, and we never saw him again. So.
Well, in a way, learning a little bit about you as I have reading your book, Larry, it sounds like Mush was the perfect dog for you because he was a fighter and you're a fighter. And so
yes.
Instinctively, yes. You guys knew that about each other.
Yes, exactly. I think that's good, and I was so glad to have it as a representative for my children, because I got 5 children, and 4 are boys and 1 is a girl. The youngest is a girl, and of course she took a lot from her brothers.
And by the way, folks, there is a photo of Mush, the Alaskan Malumute, that Larry just told us about on page 200 of Larry's book, Affective Memories, How Chance and the Theater saved my life. Affective Memories available sunburypress.com, amazon.com, where books are sold online. For more on Laurence Luckinbill, lawrenceluckinbill.com. Stay with us, folks. We'll be right back.
This portion of TV Confidential is brought to us by our friends at Front Porch Realty, the community of realtors in the Northern Bay Area of California that is committed to finding the solution that is best for their clients. Whether you're a first-time home buyer or looking to sell or lease your property in Northern California, call Karen Strain at 415-886-7411 or visit frontporchrealtygroup.com for more information on how they can help you.
One more item. Are you starting a company in an emerging market or developing something new? Do you have intellectual property but aren't sure how to protect it? Reach out to our friends at Tectonic Law. They offer rock-solid representation for groundbreaking industries who need help capturing and protecting their full portfolio of intellectual property and intangible assets, including trademark rights, brand assets, copyright rights, publicity rights, and privacy rights. Tectonic Law streamlines the complex intricacies of intellectual property and business law in easy-to-understand terms that will help you and your company form a concrete plan of action to secure and protect the value of your brand and your creative work product. Tectonic Law is licensed to practice throughout the state of California. They also practice before such tribunals as the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office and the Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers. Go to tectoniclaw.com, tectoniclaw.com, to learn more about how Tectonic Law can help your business thrive. tectoniclaw.com. Rock-solid representation for groundbreaking industries.
Hi, this is Nichelle Nichols, and you're listening to TV Confidential. Aren't we all lucky?
I appreciate your indulging me with the David Janssen question. I've done this long enough to know that when I ask you something like that, it's like asking you what you had for lunch that day 45 years ago, but every now and then you get lucky and you come across a wonderful memory, like you ended up, it was not only a paid gig on a network television show, but you got a dog out of it, and a dog for 13 years after that. So that's absolutely. That is marvelous. Okay, all right.
Well, now we get back to David. David was tired. He seemed to be tired of life.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, and how I knew that was my first on camera. He was supposed to be there reading opposite me, and he didn't. And I didn't say anything. And so one of the assistant directors said, he just doesn't do that anymore. He doesn't help out.
Yeah.
And I said, well, that's too bad, because it's actually not good for him to do that.
Yeah.
Because he's the leader of this whole expedition here.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned something from that, because from then on, I never, ever, tired or not, failed to do off camera for the people who were getting shot on camera.
Yeah.
And so you live and learn, you know.
You do live and learn, because whether you're the lead of a network television series, whether you're the lead on a film, whether you're the lead in a play, the lead sets the tone for everybody. And
that's correct, and I had to be reminded of that several times in my life, because sometimes I would get a little bit carried away with myself. But fortunately, I had usually actor friends who would say, "So you're the example here. Come on."
Yeah.
And so I eventually learned to laugh a lot.
Yeah.
And because I do have a sense of humor. That was okay. I just had to remember it. And I remember Bill Shatner, I was off screen. He was doing something with Sybok, some shot, and George Takei and I were talking, and George thought I was funny, so I kept on being funny. And Bill stopped shooting, and he said, "If you two don't stop that, I'm going to send you to outer space." So we did. We had to shut up and let the people work.
That's right. Now, I do know this a little bit about the relationship between George and Shatner. That had dated back several decades before you came to make that particular film. So he may have been doing that purposely, but at the same time, there's a point, this far and no farther. And then you've got to, focus on the task at hand and respect the fact that Shatner has a job to do as a director as well as act. So
exactly,
yeah.
and I mean, we're jumping way far ahead here, but Shatner was, I thought, a very good director, and a lot of people just like that movie. A lot of the fans, especially, and I'm not sure why, because it's really a good movie. And other people that have no attitude at all toward movies except what does with entertainment have told me the same thing. They liked it, so. But Bill took a lot of crap for it. And one thing that was true about it was that I think it was one of Indiana Jones pictures were being made, and they took up the space for post-production that we were supposed to have. And that was hard for Bill because the effects weren't very good of crossing the barrier and all of that, But none of that to a stage actor matters much. What matters is what do you feel when you're looking at the people.
And you do go into this when you talk about Star Trek V and Affective Memories, Larry, is that you give the reader some context as to what Shatner was dealing with behind the scenes that may not have come to fore at the time the movie was released. And so when you look at it that way, considering he had a lot of his prep time cut out from under him, that puts a lot of pressure. That would put a lot of pressure on any director, whether you're named Bill Shatner or not.
That's right. Or whether you have, as I saw in my first location shot, about 20 horse trailers. They're coming down the road. So you've got horses, you've got extras, you've got all kinds of people to deal with, and everybody's got a question for a director. The director just stands there and takes it. And the better they are, the calmer they are, the better the movie goes. But and Bill was frustrated the first few days, but he caught on really fast and he took a lot of time with the Sybok theme, and I thought that was good. We had our discussions. He first said to me, after he cast me, actually, Harv Bennett was a little bit more sort of demure about, how about letting the actor read the script first, Bill, in the meeting we had. But Bill was determined to put me in that part because he had seen me do Lyndon Johnson on the PBS circuit.
And we'll pick up that thread on the other side of the break. Affective Memories, How Chance and the Theater Saved My Life, the autobiography by our guest this hour, Laurence Luckinbill. Affective Memories available wherever books are sold, sunburypress.com, amazon.com, wherever books are sold online. Larry's going to stay with us for one more segment. We hope you'll stay with us as we continue our conversation here on TV Confidential.